Good morning, I'm Father X. In this episode, we'll discuss how to build your defensive fortress in family court. In the last episode, 12B, I discussed how, in family court, the mother, judge, and lawyers will take the father's words and actions and manipulate them to paint the dad as a bad person. These people do this every single day to dads like you. That's how they justify rubber stamping the mother for custody and forcing you to be an alternate weekend father. We also discussed that fear and paranoia are usually negative emotions. They're liabilities, but you can make them assets by using those feelings to create a defensive fortress around yourself. You have to defend yourself against all the arrows being launched at you. There's no complete list of everything that'll be thrown your way, but I'll give you a pretty good list so you can learn how to think about taking proactive steps to defend yourself. The key people you have to defend yourself from are the mother, the judge, and the mother's lawyer, the police, child support, and child protective services. In this episode, we'll discuss your defensive fortress around the mother, and in the next episodes, we'll discuss protecting yourself against these other players. The mother. Why does this matter? In a child custody trial, you must build a defensive fortress to, first, prevent false allegations from happening in the first place, and, secondly, to document everything so that when false accusations come, you can prove them wrong. Ultimately, at trial, you'll use the mother's false accusations to prove that she's not fostering a relationship between the child and the father, because she's trying to alienate the father by using false accusations. And you'll prove that she's a bad co-parent who's lying and manipulating the court. Tip number 1. Control yourself when she's out of control. If you're a man who's a victim of ongoing domestic violence, here's advice that I myself received from one of our couples counselors. He was aware that my ex was assaulting me and grabbing knives during arguments. He told me, "You're in a difficult situation because she can have a violent outburst at any time. During moments like these, many people break and they take actions they later regret. It's easy to have an instant reaction where you hit her back while she's hitting you, but you have to control yourself." It was great advice. How does that play out in real life? If she throws 10 punches at you but leaves no bruises, and you punch her to get her off you, and she gets a black eye, most police and judges will assume she must be the victim of domestic violence. You'll have to move mountains to make anybody think about the reality that you were defending yourself. In addition, you should get a couples therapist for both of you together. Discuss her violence openly during your joint sessions. First, hopefully the therapist can help stop the violence. But there's a second reason. A couples counselor who meets with both of you before court would know what was happening in real life. They can help counteract all the court's presumptions that by default only a woman can be a victim and only a man can be the abuser. It helped me tremendously in my case. Tip number 2. Before separating, don't move out and leave the children behind. If you do, the court will assume you're perfectly happy with the mother being the custodial parent, and the court will rubber stamp that. If you're going to live in separate homes, you should first have a written custody agreement that reflects 50-50 custody. If the court gets involved, they're more likely to rubber stamp that agreement. Check out my episode 8A to learn how to create a parenting agreement. Tip number 3. Restraining orders. Take your belongings before leaving the home. If you live with your kid's mom and you're served with a restraining order and removed from your home, you'll be given time to pack your stuff. I speak from personal experience. The police don't want to be bothered. They want you in and out very quickly. It varies, but often you get a limited amount of time where the police claim you should just take overnight clothing and that's it. But that's totally wrong. You'll likely be gone for weeks or months. Any items you leave behind are likely to be kept by the mother, and you'll have little recourse to get your personal property back. And the police don't care if they're enabling the mother to steal or destroy your property. It's a chaotic time with big risks. Keep your head straight. Don't just take your clothing. Take your laptop, thumb drives, cell phone, and electronic devices. Take your bank records, tax records, cash you keep in the house, and credit cards. Take any video or audio evidence of what happened in your home, anything that may be used as evidence in court by you or her. Take personal items like photos, yearbooks, jewelry, and memorabilia. Log out of any computers in your home and delete stored passwords so she can't log into your emails, bank accounts, social media accounts, etc. Delete your browsing history and cookies before leaving a computer behind. Take copies of your kids' birth certificates and social security cards. Take your dog with you. The rules for marital community property are different than if you're not married, so act accordingly. What's yours is yours. Whatever you leave behind, she can destroy things that matter to you, take copies of what she wants, or destroy any electronic evidence against her that she finds. And the legal system won't care if they assist her in doing this. Only you can protect yourself. Tip number 4. Secure your assets before or as soon as you separate. Your child's mother probably knows many of your passwords, even if you think she doesn't. It's happened where the mom had the dad's email passwords and read confidential emails between him and his lawyer. She might use your credit cards or withdraw money from your accounts. And then it's a nightmare to get the legal system to undo that damage because they don't care. Again, if you're married, the rules are different than if you're not married. Be sure to understand the rules around who gets marital assets. If she moved out, change the locks and alarm codes to your home. If you moved out, immediately change your home address for all your bank accounts, credit cards, retirement accounts, etc. Get mail forwarding from the post office to a new address, even a temporary one. Do this quickly because you don't want her to get your mail. Change the passwords to your bank accounts, retirement accounts, health insurance accounts, the websites you use, your email accounts, your social media accounts. All of it. Change everything. Close all your joint credit card accounts. You don't want to be liable for her future spending. Remember to remove the mother's name as a beneficiary from your accounts. Remove all of her access for all your accounts. Tip number 5. Protect your kids from being taken out of the country. There are rules about one parent taking the kids out of the country and keeping them from the other parent, but that's all a nightmare. Your best option is to prevent it from happening in the first place. In the United States, contact the Department of State. Enroll your child in the Children's Passport Issuance Alert Program. They'll alert you if the mom is applying for a passport without your knowledge. Do this today if your kids don't have passports. If they do have passports, consider canceling them. Do not wait. Please hit the like button and share this video with others who need help. Subscribe and get notifications of new videos. And please add comments of other things you do to protect yourself in family court to help other dads. Tip number 6. Record everything on video or audio. Learn your state's laws on recording a conversation with another party. Some states are one-party consent states, while other states require both parties to consent. Record every interaction with a mother, especially if she's making false accusations to win the custody case. If she gets angry at you for recording your interactions with her, that's her problem. Don't stop recording just because she's angry. You're recording to protect yourself and your future with your kids. Your recording of her doesn't make her a victim. It protects you from being a victim. If you leave her a voicemail, record it as you speak, so the mom doesn't come back saying, "He left me abusive and threatening voicemails." If you have a recording, you can disprove the allegations. Challenge her in court to produce the alleged threatening voicemails. And don't leave threatening voicemails because they'll come back to haunt you. Tip number 7. If mom keeps the kids from you, assert your rights. Many dads complain that the mom doesn't let them see the children. Some dads believe the mother controls whether the child has a relationship with the father, but that's 100% wrong. Fathers are equal parents with equal rights, and children need their fathers too. Don't surrender your rights to the mother. If the mom is denying your court-ordered parenting time, don't let it continue. As soon as this behavior begins, you can file a motion for a violation of a court order or a motion for contempt of court. You should also file a police report for custodial interference and include that police report in your motion. Your options depend on your state's laws, so look these up. Many dads complain that courts don't do anything about this. That's correct many times, but not 100% of the time. You have to take action to preserve your rights. You can't just complain out loud. You have to file the paperwork. If you do nothing, there's a 0% chance you'll get justice. If you file the paperwork, maybe there's a 30% to 70% chance you'll get justice. It's more than zero. Tip number 8. Keep a journal of the pickup and drop-off times and what happens on each occasion. If you or the mother are late, write it down. If the mother yells at you during pickup, write it down. If the mother is making excuses why you can't see your child, write down those excuses. Use the journal to summarize the frequency and patterns of the mother's behavior. Everything you write in this journal should be something you would be okay with a judge reading a few months from now as evidence. If you want a separate journal to write how horrible the mother is, that's fine, but keep that secret journal to yourself. Tip number 9. Take pictures of your kids before dropping them off. I hate this one because it's contrived and you're only doing this to prevent false allegations in court. But before you drop off your kids, take pictures of you and your kids together. Why? If your kid is hurt during the mother's time after you drop him off, the mother might blame you. You need to prove that when you dropped off your kid, he didn't have a black eye or broken bones. It's awkward, and if your kids know what's going on, it's uncomfortable for them. If your kid is a toddler, it's easier because they don't understand what's happening. Keep the pictures to yourself until you need them. Now you see why the legal system is not a competent place for resolving child custody disputes if this is what you have to do. Tip number 10. Proximity is power. Don't allow yourself to be in the same room as her. If she's anywhere near you physically, she can always claim that you assaulted her. Don't give her that power. When my son was 1 year old and we were in our custody battle, the mother and I took him to his pediatrician. The nurse put me, the mother, and our son in a room, told us the doctor would be there shortly, and the nurse locked the door, leaving the mother and I inside, together. The nurse did this innocently, but this was a huge risk for me because the mother had already lied to the police, pretending that I had assaulted her. I immediately opened the door and stood in the doorway and hallway, so I had witnesses to dispute any false accusation. And I also had a recording device taping everything. Don't permit yourself to be put in this dangerous situation without a protection plan in place. You shouldn't be in the same place as the mother because proximity is power. However, medical appointments and school activities are different. You need to attend your child's doctor visits. If I didn't go, then the mother and her lawyer could claim I didn't care about our kid, and then it looks bad if I don't go. It's a tough spot to be in. So I chose to participate in my son's life and protect myself from the mother at the same time. I had an order of protection against her, and I carried it everywhere I went to block the police from assuming I must be the abuser. Also, another exception is pick up and drop off of your kid. You're exposed every time. I know a father who goes to pick up and drop off at a public place that has security cameras. He actually met with the director of security to see which spots on the property are covered by the cameras and which are not. He learned the camera's blind spots and knows where not to go, so he can block false accusations. That's how you use paranoia to your advantage. Tip number 11. One false allegation versus multiple. With false allegations, there are generally two paths. In scenario 1, the mother makes false allegations, but she only does it once. You fight that in court and you either win or lose. But in scenario 2, the mother makes false allegations and she continues making false allegations about new things. She can make these accusations with the police, Child Protective Services, the guardian ad litem, or the judge. Here's a key point. With a mom that makes false accusations, her goal is to have the judge think you're a criminal. And during the trial process, her strategy is to file new false allegations so she can say, "Do you see, Your Honor? I got a restraining order because he's a criminal, and his current behavior shows he's still a criminal and can't stop himself." And a gullible judge will believe her. The mother's goal is to put you in a position where she can execute this plan. Your job is to countermaneuver and block her ability to do this. Proximity is power. Don't give her that power. And if she continues making false accusations, you have to document everything to prove she's a liar. And then you use that pattern of lying to prove she should not be a 50-50 or primary custodial parent. Tip number 12, read receipt emails. The mother might send you emails that request a read receipt to confirm the date and time you read that message. Always cancel those and never send a read receipt. Why? Because then the mother can complain that he read it on this day and then ignored it. He didn't respond for 48 hours. But her email may not be urgent, and you might be busy with other truly urgent things to do. Don't give her the ammunition she needs to complain that you're not responding in a timely way based on her imaginary time requirement. Don't permit read receipts when you get emails. Tip number 13, use social media wisely, not randomly. Don't use social media to publish the bad things she did. Don't reveal your trial strategy. Crouching tiger, hidden dragon. All your evidence is for trial, not for social media. If your social media posts come up in court, you'll look bad, and you're already being discriminated against. Don't make it easier for the judge to hate you. Make sure that anything you post on social media is defensible in court. Tip number 14, take secret drug tests. If the mother is falsely accusing you of using drugs, don't allow this to become an issue of he said, she said. You can't take the risk that the judge will just believe the mother with no evidence. Get yourself privately drug tested with urine, blood, or hair follicle tests. Do them a few times a year to show a long-term pattern of negative tests, not just a one-time test. If you test yourself secretly, then you're setting her up. When she falsely accuses you in court, you whip out your evidence and show her as a liar who makes baseless accusations. Your goal is to prove your innocence beyond a reasonable doubt, not just by the preponderance of the evidence. Always assume your judge will get the facts as wrong as humanly possible, and your job is to stop him from doing so. In the next episode, we'll discuss building your defensive fortress against the judge, the mother's lawyer, the police, child support, and child protective services. These might be the darkest days of your life. They were for me. I'm making these educational videos to help you navigate this nightmare. If you subscribe, you can get updates when I post more videos. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing with your friends who are in a similar situation. Please support this channel so I can make more videos. You can donate via my YouTube channel's About page using PayPal or Venmo.